Hello, hello, hello. It's been a minute, few months. I have been down here in Florida working on my community campsite. But I was outside watering my garden this morning and I decided to make a video. A good friend of mine, DJ T, we was talking last week. This topic is about, this title will be what? Matching your 401k. A lot of companies want you to match your 401k. But the one thing they don't tell you is that you will be getting taxed later on when you take your money out your 401k. So whatever the taxes is now, you're getting taxed on to take your money out. 10 years from now, 15 years from now, 20 years from now, do you think taxes will be higher or lower? So if you get taxed now at the current tax rate, I'm pretty sure that the taxes will be lower now compared to taxes 10 years from now, 15 years from now, 20 years from now. So when you put money in a 401k and your company matches the 401k, that's fine. It's a tax write-off for the company. It's not a tax write-off for you. So I won't suggest either way. I've learned not to make suggestions. But what I will suggest is a better way. Put your money inside of an IUL. Yes, I am a licensed insurance broker. I'm not one of those people who speak about IULs and don't own one. I own an IUL myself. I'm not one of those people who speak about IULs and cannot advise you or write it for you. I am. Pay attention to the people you get advice from, especially financial advice. If somebody tells you, don't get an IUL, ask them, have they ever had one? If somebody suggests to you to get a term insurance, ask them, have they ever had one? So just pay attention to who you get your advice from. I study IULs every day because that's what I write. Before I got licensed, I had my IUL. What made me get licensed was I had a million questions and I was calling my insurance company every week. I had questions. I'm actually calling them today. But I had questions. How does this work? How does that work? How does this work? So one day, one of the guys that answered the phone, they take notes every time you call. So they have all your notes that you call about. So one day, one of the guys asked me, have I ever thought about getting my license? And I was like, So he suggested that I get my license. He worked for the insurance company that my IUL is with. There's a lot of companies that offer IULs, but I can honestly tell you that they're all different. All IULs are not the same. I noticed that too. And it's the most important thing about the IUL is not the IUL itself. It's knowing how to maximize the IUL. It's having the knowledge to properly structure it. Anybody can write an IUL. I'm not knocking the person who wrote my IUL. They knew what they knew. They only know what they know. It took me 2 years later. Nah, it didn't take 2 years. It took about a year. No, it took a few months for me to realize that they only know this. Anybody can write your IUL. And they'll sit there and say, hey, I can get you an IUL, $300,000 for $150 a month. Okay, cool. So for the next 20 years, you finna pay $150 a month. That's not how you maximize the IUL, though. That is not how you maximize the IUL. So if your insurance agent or insurance broker is not following up with you on how are you working your IUL? Are you maximizing your IUL? You're supposed to do a follow-up every year, every 12 months. You're supposed to do a follow-up on your IUL because you want to see what your allocation did, what the actual index did that year, because you can move your allocation index every 12 months. You could change it. You could change it from the B of A. You could change it from the S&P. You can change it from the Barclays. You can change it from a cap to an uncapped. You can change it from a fixed to an unfixed. You can change it from 140% par to 160% par. These are all allocation options that you have. 9 times out of 10, you don't even know what this means. So if you have an IUL, call and ask, what percentage and where is my allocation at? Your allocation is the overfunded accumulation account of your IUL. So let's just say you pay $120 a month, for even number's sake. Only 90%, maybe $90 rather, is going towards insurance costs, maybe less. The other part of the money is going into your allocation, into your index. That's what's compounding interest every year. It's like having a Corvette with a turbo on it, but all you know how to do is drive the Corvette. You don't know how to push the RPM button to boost the turbo. That's how IUL works. It's a turbo booster on your IUL. So you can't just get an IUL, buy it, and that's it. When you get a bonus on your check, anything, once a month, put extra money in your IUL. After the first 12 months, when you get to your 13th month, if you put an extra $50 a month in your IUL, when you get to your 13th month, hit me up. Hit me up, and I'll be able to show you with your own policy. I don't care who wrote it. I'll be able to show you your increase, the benefit, the true benefit. It takes about 13 months to really see the benefit of an IUL. But if you had an IUL more than 13 months, hit me up. I'm going to give you my number. And I normally don't. 832-525-0405. Yes, I am licensed out of the state of Texas. Texas is my resident state where my license is held. But I'm living on my farm. I actually own a farmland down in Florida where I just finished watering my garden. I post a picture of some of the watermelons that we have down here. Seeded, of course. Growing my own. That's another thing. Grow your own food. We in a food crisis. Grow your own food so you know what you're eating. So you know what you're putting in your body. But yeah. Maximize your IUL. And I can educate you on how to do it. If you have a policy, fine. Because we can restructure your whole policy. We could restructure the policy you got. If you with a company and you have a term, but that company offers IUL, call them. Call your insurance company and ask them, hey, I want to switch up my policy to a Index Universal Life. That's what IUL stands for. We just say IUL because it's shorter than Index Universal Life. But Index Universal Life. Call your insurance company and ask them, can you switch your policy to an Index Universal Life? I had 2 clients that had life insurance policies and they wanted to switch because they heard one of their friends talk about their policy. So they didn't know what the name of it was. So when I called them and was talking about insurance, they was like, yeah, we want this. We heard such and such had this. Luckily, I was friends with the guy too, so I was able to call him and ask him. So it was a whole life. It was a whole life. A little similar, a little different. But call your insurance company and ask them, can I switch my policy to an index universal life? And if you need help, hit me up. I will actually put my information in the bottom of my YouTube. I'll put my information on it. You should be able to find me though. It's not hard. Daryl Ballard. That's my name for those who don't know. Probably easier to find me on Instagram than anything. I'm actually going to start back doing all my messages. So another thing, call your 401k, whatever job you work with, and ask them, when I retire and I get ready to pull my money out of my 401k, will I get taxed? That is the bigger elephant in the room that nobody talks about. You're funding all this money into your 401k, but when you turn 65, and let's just say you take out 10 grand, you're probably going to be hit with about a what? 25% tax. So you take out 10, you're only going to get 7,500. If you put, instead of overfunding your 401k, put that extra money into your insurance, because your insurance is tax deferred. And when you call your insurance company and say, hey, I want to take out 10 grand, guess what they're going to say? You want it mailed by check? You want it indexed or non-indexed? 2 questions. That's all they're going to ask. It's going to be a 1-sheet piece of paper, and those are going to be the 2 questions that you have on there, besides signing your name. And that's it. So do your research. We're in the era of information, and pay attention to the people you listening to. You know, I have an IUL, and I'm actually rewriting my own IUL, restructuring it myself, because when you know better, you do better. So that's the message for today, y'all. Just put your money in a better fund. I'm not knocking a 401k. I'm just saying there's something better. You know what I'm saying? That's all I'm saying. Not talking about anything. Waste of breath. I'm giving you a better option. So hit me up. I'm going to actually start doing a video once a week, maybe twice a week, maybe 3 times a week. I'm just here to share information, but I am licensed. I am a licensed life insurance broker, which means that I am brokered and licensed with multiple companies, not just one. Anybody who's only licensed with one company, they're not a life insurance broker. They are a life insurance agent. Big difference. So they can only offer the products that that company have. They can't offer the products that any other company have. You may come to me and say, hey, I want to get an index universal life. Okay, cool. One of my biggest questions I'm going to ask amongst our community and culture is, do you have diabetes? Have you ever had diabetes? Because if you do, most companies going to deny you. But yes, I do know a company that won't deny you. So that's the difference between a broker. You may come to me and be like, man, I got a felony. I'm still on probation. I just got off probation. Most companies going to deny you for that reason too. But there are companies out there that will approve you. That's my point of being a broker and an agent. A broker have options, an agent don't. So if you say that I have my life insurance through Allstate, no. Allstate may be good for residential insurance. They may be good for auto insurance. Residential, I know they're pretty cheap. I've had them before. But other than that, not life insurance. That's not what they specialize in. You want to have life insurance with a company that specializes in insurance. So a company that specializes in insurance, they have options. They have this type of insurance, this type of insurance, this type of insurance. If they only offer one type, they don't specialize in insurance. And that's not who you want your insurance policy through. But for those who already have their policy, you can switch your policy to another company. Also, you can switch it. You can take the allocation money that you have in there and turn it over to another company, a better company with better options for you. The whole point is to maximize and position yourself. Put yourself in the best position. So I could be long-winded on a lot of different subjects. I'm not, because the stock market is about to open, and I do play the stock market every day. I love playing the stock market because that actually gives me inside information on what the economy is doing. That's a whole nother subject. The economy is at an all-time high. When the economy or anything is at an all-time high, what has to happen? What's coming? Brace yourself.